Oh.
Hello, everybody. Everyone that's here. Whoever's here, you guys can drop a comment down below and talk about what you're working on today or your whip or anything at all. And yeah. And I think we'll give everyone a few minutes to come in, maybe.
Yeah. Right, I'm like setting up my my screen here. Let's see what's going on. All right.
Okay.
Do we want to introduce ourselves?
Let's see.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
You want to start, Jess? Oh, hi, Ian.
Yeah.
Good morning.
You should start. You start, Hannah.
Okay, I'll start. Hi, everybody. My name is Hannah Grace Fletcher. I'm an author here on YouTube, obviously. I'm working on a young adult religious fantasy / science fiction novel. It's about a trio of characters, kind of like Harry Potter, Percy Jackson vibes. It has found family, grief, bunch of things, bunch of science fiction, fantasy elements. And yeah, today I'm going to be working on kind of replotting. And before I dive back into draft 2, because I realized I needed to do that first, and I did not do that. And so, yeah, that's me. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Jess. I have been here on YouTube for a little bit now. I think I saw Ian was in here. I know we kind of mutually watch each other, so I know you know who I am. But morning, Ian. My writing has been kind of all over the place recently. I was editing the book that I worked on in November, but I kind of realized I had no idea what I was doing with the editing, so I kind of put it to the side and I started working on a second chance romance. But then this past weekend, I had this like huge idea for this interconnected huge series, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So I decided to shift focus to that. So I've been working on that. So the first book in the series would be a Sleeping Beauty retelling. So I've been working on that.
Yeah. Just by the way, your what your project you're working on, it reminds me of like Once Upon a Time, right?
That's yep.
Aww. And also this video, it also reminds me of this video game, Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if you know what that is. That's what it reminds me of.
I do know what it is.
Yeah. It's Dami. Good morning, Dami.
Hey, Dami.
What am I working on?
Oh.
Yeah, it's more than ADHD, just kind of taking control, and I tend to jump around on like everything. So,
also Ari's here.
Good morning. I guess I'll introduce myself. My name is Brooke. That is my pen name, but you guys could call me Allie as well. I'm working on a young adult eco fantasy, and I am outlining draft 2. I have to do some character development and really polish the plot, and that's going really well. So it's kind of like Princess Mononoke meets Fourth Wing, but very, very loosely on the fourth wing. So it's a lot about balance in nature and mankind while exploring trusting in relationships. So that's what that's about, and finding identity and found family. So that's what mine is about for now, I guess, because I don't know what it's going to happen.
Yeah. Definitely. That's my life.
Bunnies and ADHD. Would you like to form an alliance with me? Oh, that rhymes. Okie dokie. Also, if any of you guys have any questions, we'll do that after the first sprint, but you guys can go ahead and leave them in the comments now. Yeah. I think we may, at around 8:25, say start the first sprint, or we could start now. What do you guys think?
Sure. It's up to you, Hannah.
Okay. We can wait till 8:25.
Yeah.
Okay,
Guess we can
cool.
just
Do
chat.
more people chase?
Yes.
If I
'cause
disappear
I know-
suddenly, it's letting people in, okay?
Yes. Yes. Very
What
true.
about you guys, Ian, Tommy, Ari, what are you guys working on? Sure, Ian's probably on book like 15 by now.
Very true. Very
I
true.
I just watched Ian's last book update. I saw.
Morning.
Good morning, Jasmine.
I love this cue. I always ask it on stream. What genre do you not see yourself ever writing? We can answer that now, actually. Honestly. Who would like to go first?
You can go ahead, Hannah.
Okay. What do I not see myself ever writing? I don't think I could ever write like a thriller or a horror novel because fun fact about me, I am like the most paranoid person in the world. Like I cannot do horror. Like I'm afraid of the dark. I can't sleep because like I don't like shadows. Also, it probably doesn't help that I wear contacts, so I can't see in the dark. So I'm like, this is like double like fear.
That is a true fear.
So I have like the worst dreams too. Like I'll wake up and I'll be like, that was straight from hell. That was a nightmare. And like I could probably think of a terrifying premise, but I don't think I could ever write it.
You'd freak
ever.
yourself out writing it.
So that's me. No. No. What about you, Jess?
I feel like I don't know that I could write like a mystery. Like I don't know if I would be able to like interconnect everything and have all the little
Very true.
hints and like the red herrings and like figure out how to get from like point A to point B and not like reveal it on like page 2.
The people that do that are so smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I would also say horror for me, horror and murder mystery. I think because of what I used to do, I've heard it. I don't want it like I don't want to talk about it anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely not
Very
horror
fair.
because I also get a little bit paranoid. I have like here on my window right here, like we have like the woods and it's super dark and I am so paranoid that like someone is gonna just and it's always like in my head, it's like a naked old person like coming from the woods, attacking me and my family. That is the fear that I have. And I'm always making sure our backyard is safe. But thankfully we have 2 big dogs, but still that's my fear. So I can't do horror. Also probably books with very spicy scenes because I feel like that's very revealing of like my personal life. I feel like if somebody reads that, they're like, "Oh,
Yep.
so that's what you do with your husband," and I'm like, "Ah!"
Yep.
You know. And what if one day, like my family reads it? Like I
Yeah,
feel like that's
real.
very revealing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's
write
just me.
spicy
That's just me.
scenes. I write spicy scenes in my books, and I always think that like, God, what if one of my brothers picks this up? Or like, I have 3 younger brothers, so I'm like, I need a
Just
pen
don't
name
look
so
at it.
nobody knows. Like,
That's
I'm
very
gonna
true.
have 10 books
I know a
out,
lot of
and nobody
people
in
do
my family will know.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Ian
don't want people
says-
thinking that.
Very fair. I'm at work today, so I'll be stepping out for a meeting at 9. But tonight I'll continue outlining book 6.
Wow.
It'll be 3 books in one. Obviously, why wouldn't it be? So kind of tricky to pull off. Very true.
Ian's books
Very
get just
true.
like progressively harder to write.
They just
The
start
last one was The
multiplying
White
on their
Room,
own.
and then now he has like 3 in 1.
Very, very true. Okay, well, it looks like we are about to get to 8:25 my time. So if you guys are good with it, we'll go ahead and start the first sprint.
Sounds good.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that is the end of our first sprint. How did it go for everybody?
Good.
It was really
Awesome.
good. Yeah, that kind of
Wonderful.
surprised me.
Well, what?
It kind of surprised me. It scared me a little bit because
The
I
timer.
was
Oh,
in
I'm
the
sorry.
zone. Yeah. Okay.
I tried to pick like the least scary
Like
one
jarring.
because some of them are like, "Ha, ha, ha," like
Really?
over and over. Not screaming, but like they're like, this is to wake you up, like very, very obviously to wake you up. I yeah. If you guys want to go talk about how the sprint went, Jess, Brooke, I can go first, I
Sure.
guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think it went really good. I definitely had one of those moments where I was like, wow, this would be so crazy, but this would also be torture to my characters. But wow, this would be such a plot twist. I was sitting here like gasping. I was like, this would turn everything so cool, like in the whole
That's
series.
awesome.
And I'm like, this would affect them later. Yeah. What about you, Jess?
So I only wrote for the last like 15 minutes, but I still got like almost 400 words in.
Oh,
That's really
wow.
good though.
Yeah, it seems like so far with the story, every time I sit down to write it, even though I have to like stop, for work or whatever, every time I sit back down, it just kind of picks back up and I get right back into the flow of it. So I'm hoping that that will continue. Um,
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
writing this scene where like the Maleficent character kind of comes in, so that's been really fun. And then I was working on next month is the Rough Draft Challenge with Sarah Cannon on her channel.
Mhm.
So I created her little
That's
like
so
workbook
fun.
and I've been
Oh,
like
nice.
cutting it up to put it like in my little A5 planner thing. So I was doing that the first part, and then the dogs had to go, of course.
What about you, Brooke?
I was working on some scenes. I actually finished outlining, but I'm going over it to make sure everything's cohesive before I start doing rewrites. So I actually deleted a scene and then refined a few more to make sure that I'm touching on the overall plot, making sure the characters are developing the way they should be and not just like suddenly. So making sure that I'm touching on all of that. And also, my husband kept like interrupting me. He was telling me
Of
like
course.
when people were going to arrive in our house. So thankfully, the construction people, the remodeling people won't be here until 8:30. And then he told me some more people were coming to work on the backyard. I'm just like, okay. Sometimes I feel like his assistant, but it'd be
Oh, I
like
feel
that
that.
sometimes.
I feel
Yeah. So, but that's
No,
what
as
I
soon
did.
as you
I
said
was
that,
really
my
fun.
husband like creaked open the door. So if you guys heard that, that was him being silly. Okay, I
Ah,
think
Hi, Lisa.
we have hi friends. Everyone's saying good morning. I'm so glad all of you
Yay.
guys are here.
oh,
And
I
then
have a question for you guys, by the way.
okay. And
Sure.
then
Because
Leah, I think
I
she wants
know,
to know what we're working on.
yeah. Well, go ahead and answer
I
Leah's
guess we can do
first.
that. Sorry. Is that
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm working on my I'm working on my YA religious fantasy science fiction novel. It's about a main trio of characters with found family and kind of like a discussion of grief. And the characters are about like 14 years old, so it's kind of like Harry Potter,
Hmm.
Percy Jackson. It's gonna be a series, kind of that vibe. What about you, Jess?
Oh.
Pass it over.
Uh, I am working on the first book in a new series, which would be a sort of Sleeping Beauty retelling. So I just started that a few days ago.
I'm writing a YA eco fantasy about the balance of nature and humanity and all that great stuff. We will see because it keeps evolving into something else. But I'm trying to stay in this lane because there's a bunch of things that I want to hit on in the book. So that's what I'm working on. But
That's
yeah.
how it goes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry for the minor interruption. Go ahead with your question.
Oh, I do. Okay, so my question is because we're all doing revisions, how are you guys doing revisions? Because I know like how I'm doing revisions is completely different from how you guys may be doing it. And I know, Jess, that you're drafting this
Right.
huge series, this I guess what do you call it? Fairy tale
Yeah.
universe that you're
Mhm.
creating. So yeah.
Do you want to
how
go
are you
first? Or you
guys
want me to go
doing?
first?
You either way.
Oh,
You can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've kind of gone all over the place. I started off drafting trying to rewrite the entire book because I can't remember her name. Christiane Jones, I love her, and that's how she does it. She like rewrites the entire book, and I was like, that seems like a good way for me to do it because like it's basically refreshing your brain. And then I was like, this isn't working for me because I kept looking at the old draft and like copying stuff over. And then so I started kind of like doing that, rewriting in new chapters because my book changed to multi POV when I started editing and it wasn't originally multi POV. So that's definitely been a change. So I started more so like having the original draft and then editing it within that draft. And then because I didn't exactly make an editing plan, I highly recommend you make an editing plan and like plan out what you like, what you don't like. Basically, do the replot because I kind of treated it the same way as drafting because I'm a very headlights writer. Like, I like to know the big points, but I like to have some room for creativity. But also, that means that I'm not very confident in the changes I'm making. So that's why I've kind of gone back and I'm making my editing plan. But yeah, one important thing about the way that I edit is I always have to have like a creative sprint. Like if I'm doing sprints, I can't do all editing sprints because it'll tire me out. So at the end, or like in between, if I'm doing a few, I need to have like, oh, I'm drafting something else, writing a short story, brainstorming for next things in the project because it really helps me to like refuel creatively to have that creative aspect. So yeah, that's me. Don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does because everyone's so different when they revise. Yeah. What about you, Jess,
Yes.
when you were revising your other one?
So I feel like I had no idea like how to go about editing the first draft. So Sarah Cannon, I watch her a lot, and she has a workbook on editing your your book. So I downloaded that, and her like first step was to just do like a full read through, and just kind of make note of anything that you think you might want to change.
Yeah.
Make note of any places where you might have just put like a bracket with like write this later or whatever. Kind of make a list of all those things. And so I started
Yeah.
doing that. And I've been doing that, but I realized that one, I had a lot of stuff that I need to research. So that story is totally different than what I'm writing now. The main character is a detective in New York City. And obviously, I know nothing about that. So I have all these spots where I was like, research this, research that. Like, does this make sense? And being that it's in New York City, I want to make sure that like the locations are accurate, stuff like that. So I have tons of research and notes that I need to do. So that's kind of the first step of what I'm doing is going through and figuring out what I need to research, getting that information, and then kind of plugging that in. And then I feel like I'll go into like the second draft. But also, I realized as I was reading through, I realized that I kept switching, not necessarily POVs, but I kept switching like the tenses. I kept writing like some of it is written like present tense, and then all of a sudden I would switch, and everything's written in like past tense. And I'm like, what was I doing? I don't know if I just couldn't decide like which one I wanted, and I was just like my subconscious just kept like going back and forth. So I'm having to go through and fix that also.
For me, I finished the draft one. I read through it and I was just like, it's all over the place. So I actually did a reverse outline of everything and outlined all the scenes, and that has been helping a whole lot. And then I figured, like, let me just restructure everything. So I studied a lot of craft books because I have no creative writing background whatsoever. I've written before, but um, it's not creatively. It's very like reports and soap notes, which are like
Right.
patient notes, and it's never like there's always like a structure to that, which is kind of similar to writing. Actually, there's a structure, but there's not enough creativity in it. So I did that, and then I started outlining scenes for draft two, and that's been helping me a lot. And I can't wait to just finally rewrite everything because I think that would be much better. But that's how I do my revisions, because now I can go back instead of deleting chapters and paragraphs and feeling like I just wasted my time. I hate saying that, but that's what it feels like when I delete like so many words. So that helps me a lot. Just go back and like drop an Easter egg here, or like make sure to hit at the theme here and all that great stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
I'm dumb.
Jess, I think Alyssa has like a tip for
I
you.
saw that.
Yeah.
I'm just going through all of them. Hey, Alyssa. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, breakfast.
I don't want to miss anybody. Oh, bye, Ian. Oh, you already said that. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome. I'll have to make a note of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
Also,
idea.
if you know like a detective or like a police officer, they're willing to talk to you. Like at least the police officers I know, the detectives I know, they're very willing to tell you about like what they do. Of course, they won't tell you like the case, right? But they're very friendly. At least it was I know. They're very friendly, and they'll be willing to, if you ask around, or if you meet someone, you can just ask them and just say this is for research. They're very approachable. So
our neighbor tutored down as a cop, so
ooh, there you go. Yeah. Give him some cookies. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really agree with this comment, saying I'm having a hard time deciding what needs to be written. It's like I'm paralyzed by the words I've already written.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that's
do you guys feel this?
Yeah.
And like, do you have any advice for this?
That's why I'm not writing draft 2 just yet. That's why I'm not writing it, because it feels like I'm deleting something that I've poured so much into that I feel like I wasted time. So that's why I'm doing the outline in a detailed way, so that when I do rewrites, I'm not just deleting it. But I guess for Leah, you have to decide whether or not what you've written is following the plot and also making sure that the characters are developing. I feel like that's how you know like what to delete and what not to delete. Because I literally just deleted a scene because I was like, what is the point of this scene? Like, it's not anything for the characters. It's not doing anything for the plot. It's just like, it was just there. And it wasn't even like a, like a down, I don't know. Because like when the plot is moving, it's like, whoop, it's like up and down. I don't know how to describe it. Like, who am I? Like, I'm not an expert. It wasn't even like, it wasn't serving anything, if that makes sense. So I just deleted it, even though I thought about it for like probably a few hours. It doesn't have a purpose. So I just deleted it. So I guess that's one way to ask yourself is like, what is this doing for your plot and for your characters? If it is serving in any way, then feel free to keep it. But I just, sometimes you have to ask yourself that difficult question, even though you like took the time to write that. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'd probably say that a big thing for me is that I get paralyzed a lot, and what I've been doing a lot this whole time is doing line level editing when I'm supposed to be doing developmental editing. So it really depends what stage of the process you're in. So I really say like narrowing yourself in on what are you doing right now in this draft? Like what do you want the story to look like at the end of this draft? You don't have to be like, this is going to be the final product at the end of this draft. Because I feel like even though we don't say that, a lot of us feel that way when we're editing. We look at things and we're trying to make it as perfect as possible. But if you really aren't sure about something, I'd say honestly, just move on. Because there's a reason we have so many drafts in writing. There's a reason we do things so many times over and over again. And I'd say that like if you aren't sure about something, just keep going and you'll find the answer later on.
For sure.
I think Mayo, Mail also, I hope
Oh,
I'm
yes.
saying your name right. Yeah, she said that there's a graveyard folder. I do also have that where I just put the scenes that I deleted from the main draft. I just put it there because you can use it later on. I have one as well, and I have it for each like character development and where it goes. Um, but for me, once I when I have that very like sometimes I have a very black and white kind of thinking of like, okay, is this like a need for this? I'll just completely delete it. But if I can use it again in some way, I do have like a little folder for that, or a little file actually. It's just called deleted scenes or unused scenes that I can go back to if I need like another idea. But that's a really great way of like making sure that like can be used again.
Hmm. Definitely.
Very true. Okay, I think that that's all the questions, comments we have right now. So if you guys are ready, we can go and get into another sprint.
Sure.
Yeah.
If I can share the screen, that is. Oh, Emily
Hey,
says good morning.
Emily.
Hi.
Okay. Wait. 3, 2, 1. Let's get to writing.
I should mute myself. Okay. In case walls come down. Okay.
Okay, everyone. That is the end of the second sprint. We'll go ahead and remove that. Also, hi, Stu. How did the sprint go for you guys?
I didn't get to finish refining the scenes that I wanted to, since I have some contractors downstairs that just arrived.
Yes.
Yeah, so for those watching, I'll mute myself, and if you guys are wondering why, it's because they're breaking down walls right below me. So I don't want you guys to hear it, and thankfully my kids are starting to wake up so they don't get scared from all the crashing and demolishing happening downstairs.
Very
Yeah.
fair. How did it go for you, Jess?
Good. I did 238 words.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes, good.
I did a lot of behind the scenes planning, like travel time, like figuring out how long it takes from point A to point B, and then like a bunch of thinking as to world building, like geological formation stuff affecting the science and everything. So
mhm.
yeah. And then y'all in the chat know my husband commented in the chat. It was pretty funny. But yeah, he's about to leave for work, so he'll probably come in here in a second.
That was
But
really
yeah.
nice of him. That was very nice of
Yes.
him. My husband leaves
Yeah.
at like 4 a.m. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
so early.
Yeah, he works really far away, so
Yeah, that makes
My
sense
husband,
actually.
my husband's in his office, just like down the hallway. But he has a little couch there that he lays on, like sometimes, because he starts
mhm,
work super early.
mhm.
Um, and usually, like if I'm done getting ready with work early, whatever, I'll go and sit in there with him, whatever. And he's like, "This is interrupting our morning time."
Yeah.
So he's like texting me,
If
"Where are you?"
if you guys want to comment, if you're in the chat and you got some words written down, you can go ahead and share what you did in the sprint. And if you guys have any questions for us, definitely let us know. But in the meantime, I have a question for both of you.
Sure.
So what is your, I know we're editing slash drafting. I know Jess, you're kind of drafting too as well.
Yeah.
But what is your guys' favorite type of scene to write, if that makes sense?
Mm.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a good one. I guess so far my favorite scenes to write have been, um, I guess when like I don't want to say fighting scenes because that's a lot of descriptive writing right there.
Hmm.
But I like when they are finding something out, like those kinds of scenes when there's a big reveal. I like those scenes because I think it's interesting
Hmm.
to see like the character's perspective of it, like this big reveal, whatever it may be. I love that. And also kind of putting down like if there's like a ticking time of some sort. I like those too. Like along with those
Ooh,
reveals, I like those
Mhm.
kinds of things.
very
Cool.
true. What about you, Jess?
Hmm. I know some people don't like writing like dialogue. I actually like writing dialogue.
Hmm.
I love banter in books. Like
Mhm.
any books where the characters have a lot of like just back and forth and are like teasing each other, or have a lot of banter. I love that, so I like writing that. Also,
Yeah. I'd probably say for me, I really enjoy banter, probably the same as you, but more so like because I don't really, at least the book I'm writing right now, it doesn't have any romance in it. So it's more
Mhm.
so like friendship
yeah,
Oh,
banter
that's
type
for
things,
sure.
cute.
like
I
the
like those.
jokes that they have
Mhm.
between each
Mhm.
other.
Yeah, me too. I love
And
that.
then I really like the emotionally heavy scenes where they're like
Ah,
having deep conversations and talking to each
Yeah,
other. I struggle with action, but this book has a lot of action. So I'm getting better at action scenes.
nice.
mm.
And then I believe Leah had a question. If you guys feel comfortable sharing for this one,
Ooh.
what is your last line? and I'd have to go check too because.
I wouldn't
And I know
say
because
it's
we're editing.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's the last line because I am like writing scenes, and writing scenes doesn't always have lines. But the
That's
scene, I
true.
guess, is I'll tell you a little bit about the scene. The protagonist just has this, I guess, low moment where she runs away from her problems, and one of the, I guess, love interests, sort of, that I'm hinting at is trying to comfort her, but she she rejects it because he has the ability to kind of not kind of he has the ability to manipulate feelings, right? To calm people down and in a way kind of manipulate that person so she rejects it. So that's the scene that I am writing. And I don't really have dialogue for that or a last line. That's just how the scene is. Oh, that is so sweet.
Cute.
Is your husband in the service?
Yes, he's in the
Okay.
army.
Oh, tell him thank you for
He had to
everything
go
that
to
he
work
is
late
doing for us.
today though, so no PT.
I think I might have questions for your husband in regards to researching military stuff one day. If you're okay with that, Hannah.
100%.
Nice.
I forgot what we were talking about.
What is the last thing that is what Leah's asking? Oh.
Okay, do you want to go, Jess, or do you want me to go?
Sure. Okay, I'm just gonna brain dump because I don't know how good this is.
Okay.
But let's see. The last word I wrote, or the last sentence I guess I wrote is the king's words caused the queen to throw back her head and laugh, and Honora felt the sound in her bones.
This is like the Sleeping Beauty art?
Yeah.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
I love that. My last line that I wrote in my revised plot draft is "This will take a while." It's funny to look at now because, like, yeah, it's gonna take a while to write, but it's also like relevant in what I'm talking about, like the travel time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was funny. And then this wasn't today, but the last thing I added to draft 2 was if Francis and the other boys had anything else to say, he didn't hear it. So that's me.
I am excited to read your novel, Hannah, because I want to
Thank you.
know. Because 14-year-olds are interesting because, like, how kids navigate grief is so
Yeah,
different from adults.
it's very
From what
true.
I've seen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when I started writing the book, I had my husband read it, but they started off being 11.
Oh.
Because I was like, "Oh, like, in some of these books, they started pretty young, like Harry Potter's 11, like, it's okay." And then I had him read it, and he was like, "Hannah, maybe you should age them up because what they're dealing with is a bit extensive." So I aged them up, and
Oh.
honestly, it fits their, like, brain maturity
Yeah.
a lot better.
Yeah.
So they're 14 now, but still
Hey, man,
very
Harry Potter had themes of grief everywhere, even in the
that's
first
very
book.
true.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like younger kids or younger people are able to feel the depth of grief. It's just it looks different, and it may seem like they're not
Yeah,
capable of processing it, but they are. It's just it looks different. That's all it is.
yeah.
So that's really cool that you're exploring that. I love that.
Thank you.
So,
That's so
and of
sweet,
course,
thank
Jess,
you.
yours is like Kingdom Hearts. Of course, I'm into it.
Yeah.
So at least in my brain, when you talked about it on the Discord, I was like, oh, it's like Kingdom Hearts, and I love that game.
Sure.
I grew up with that,
I
and
did
also
too.
Once Upon a Time.
I love Once Upon a Time. I actually just started doing a rewatch. Renee and I are actually doing a rewatch.
Hmm.
She's never seen it, so
Oh,
I haven't watched it, I really need to. I
I
really
think
it's
you'll
so
want
like
to.
it.
good.
It's really good. Yeah, I remember when it came out on TV. When
Yeah.
people used to watch TV like prime
Mhm.
time, because now everyone just
Yep.
streams or watches YouTube. So
Very true. I am very much a YouTube watcher. I barely watch any
Me
TV.
too.
same. I'll watch Netflix though, from
I
time
do
to
too.
time.
Yeah.
Looks like Caroline's gonna stay and write. And then everyone's saying that banter is definitely where it's at.
For sure.
I 100% agree. Okay. What time is it? 9:41. Do you guys want to get into another sprint?
Yes.
Sure.
Awesome. Can we do 25 minutes or will that be too late
That's okay.
afterwards?
That's
I think
okay.
it'll be fine.
Okay, let me go ahead and get that ready. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's write. Okay, everybody. That is the end of our third sprint. How did it go for you guys? And comment in the chat how it went for you as well. If you got any words down, that kind of thing.
Let's see, how did it go? I'm trying to I'm making sure that relationships as well in the project are actually developing realistically, I guess.
Very true.
And there's this part where it's female friendship can be a little complicated. I feel like there's a lot of emotions there. And so I'm trying to make sure that I hit on that with this first conflict between two women, I guess. Especially it's more hurtful when your friend does a silent treatment and ISIS you, right? And so I'm trying to have them talk about it, and but also making sure the protagonist is still lying, which still sucks, right? Because she's not actually making those developments. So that's where I'm at. That's what I was working on. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you guys hear that?
No, I don't hear
little,
anything.
but it's not bad. It's just some white noise in the background.
Okay, I'm gonna now mute myself. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no,
No, you're fine.
They are
literally not
coming down.
Unless you mention it, it's not noticeable.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Okay, I'm still gonna mute myself.
Okay. Did you get to do anything, Jess, or?
No, I'm basically just getting ready to head out to work once we're done. So I had a little change of venue.
Okay. I just kept trucking along on the re-outline. I think I got some really good things going down, but the book keeps getting longer and longer. And I'm like, Hannah, this is a YA book. I'm glad that I made it multi-POV because I'm adding in a bunch of motivation and I'm thinking about the characters in a way that I didn't before. But at the same time, it keeps getting longer, and I'm like, when are we gonna stop? When are we gonna chill? But then again, I don't know what the word count's actually gonna be. So I just know that currently it's sitting at 10 chapters longer than the
I felt that happens to me too. I always end up longer than what I first anticipated.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, definitely. The last night I was thinking about my book because I after I write for the morning, I think about it all day. And I thought about the next book already. I'm like, chill out, man. You got to focus on the first book and just make it work so we have time for the next. We have so much time for the next one. I just gotta focus in this first book.
Yes.
Right.
Very true.
For sure.
Ian, all good. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
No words added, but I did think about changes I want to make to my outline. Very good. We love a good outline. Came in late, so I didn't get any words in. All good. We've all been there. I believe Leah and Emily have questions, but I also know that you have to get to work, Jess. So do you think we have time to answer these?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start out with this one. Are you more of a discovery writer or an outliner? I'm struggling to discover my plot as I go. Haha. I guess I can go first. I'd probably say I'm a plantser. I'm somewhere in between because my headphones just. Okay, because there we go.
Now I can hear.
Okay, because I like to have a general outline, but I also like to give myself creative freedom within that outline to make kind of choices as I go because it makes it more interesting to me. So I'd probably say somewhere in between for me.
Yeah. What about you, Jess?
Well, so usually I go in with an outline, but I feel like over the last couple of projects that I've worked on, I've spent so much time on the outline and just worrying about hitting all the different beats and doing all the things that everybody says you should do that I was getting in my head about it, and I was spending months working on the outline and never allowing myself to actually get to the writing. And I got so just absorbed in that it took a lot of the creativity out of it. And so with this book that I just started. I'm discovery writing it, and I haven't done that in like years. So it's been a lot of fun to just allow myself the freedom to just kind of let it go where it will, and then I can um, either once the words like stop flowing and I kind of hit a wall, then maybe I'll go back and kind of figure out an outline. But right now I'm just kind of letting it go where it will.
In my first draft, I plantsed it, mostly did discovery writing or pantsed. And I think that that's the freedom with the draft one, is that you're allowed to go wherever you want. So you get to know your character and your plot. And now that I know them a little bit better, and after taking a break from it and also studying like craft books, and now that I'm actually outlining draft two, in a way I'm still discovering them and giving myself that freedom. But I love pantsing and discovery writing for the first draft, but I think as it progresses, I'm becoming more of a plotter because I need a map. Because I do like when I do discovery writing, I hit that wall and I'm like, where do I go? Because it can go so many ways. But if I do that, then I feel like I'm all over the place and it doesn't work for me personally. So now I'm actually plotting draft two, but allowing myself during the outline to be creative and to continue to explore. But once I start writing, I am going to follow that outline a lot more because I did not enjoy feeling lost and feeling stuck. But that's just me personally. So I do discovery writing more and planting more in the first draft. In the second draft, I try to give myself more structure so that I don't get stuck. I hope that makes sense.
I think we'll do this one real quick because it's kind of similar. More like, what do you use? I am a Google Docs girl because when I try to write on paper, it freaks me out because like I want to write it all pretty and perfect, and then I don't actually just brain dump. So I use Google Docs to brain dump it all out, and then I pick and choose what parts I want to keep, organize them better, and then we get on with the drafting. But yeah.
I am actually both. I have a notebook, like right here. I designated for each project, and in here I will write ideas and like the initial like world of Project BK, and the lore is all here, and even the character. And I allow myself to get messy in it, and then in Google Docs I actually organize it, and it's more streamlined.
So I feel like I'm all over the place. I've tried a few different things. I've tried using a notebook. I love the idea of having a notebook for each project and being able to like look back on it and um, having all the notes and everything in one spot. But I always like set them up and then I never use them. So I've used Notion in the past. I kind of go back and forth between Notion and Dabble. Dabble's where I actually do my drafting. And it has a really good setup for keeping like notes and world building and like little flashcards. I think Scrivener has something similar. I've never used Scrivener, but I've seen from some of you guys' like screenshots and stuff that I think it has something similar. So mostly now I've been using Dabble and the different tools that are in there. I know a few of you in the Discord have asked for like a walkthrough of Dabble, so I'm working on
that. Okay. I believe that is our last question, and I know that Jess has to get to work, and then some of you in the chat also have to go and get ready for the day. But I wanted to thank our guests, Brooke and Jess, for coming on the stream. It's my first stream ever, so I'm very excited, and I think it went very well. I want to thank everyone in the comments who came and wrote and did amazing things. And I believe that Taylor and Natalie are having a stream later. So if you guys are just waking up, just join the chat, even though this one's ending. There's another one, I think, in a few hours. Time zones get finicky, but there's another one today. So definitely hop on theirs. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks, guys.
And yeah,
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay.